It is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're delighted to be joined with probably nearly feels like a regular guest now. You're on that much, but delighted to be joined once again with Kevin Cronin. I guess it's the first time we've spoken quite a while since you've probably come off a win. It was your first win since September of last year. Do you sort of feel like, I guess, when we spoke previously, is obviously it's been your draw with obviously Jimmy Morrissey and obviously the defeat in Belfast. Do you sort of feel relief sort of in a way now that you're back to winning ways?
Um, yeah, I guess you could say so. I didn't really even look at it that way, to be honest. I didn't look at the draw and the loss. They were two tough, huge, tough fights. I just took confidence from the first one, and seeing how I performed over the distance, and then went into the second one, and ended up being a draw on the scorecards. Then I took the confidence from that into this one. So yeah, I wasn't really thinking of it that way. I'm confident in myself anyway. Big thing, it was just nice to finally get down to super middle. I've been trying to get there now with a bit, and I kept getting pulled back up for the two title fights. So it was nice to finally get down there, and I suppose answer the big question of will I carry the power down? Will I be drained there? And I think at least everyone got to see it there the last day.
I guess obviously, for anybody that sort of maybe watched the interview and hasn't obviously caught up with it yet, you obviously stopped Santos Medrano in the third round in Cork last Saturday. So it's nearly a week ago now. Did the stoppage come with obviously what's happened, previously, obviously in the other two fights? Were you sort of taking a bit of time to get sort of used to it? Obviously it's your first southpaw opponent you've fought in a while, or was that punishment and that pain from the previous two fights coming out that Medrano was, did you go in looking for a stoppage, or did obviously just the opportunity sort of came?
No, the opportunity came. Look, I knew kind of coming down that I'd be strong anyway. I wasn't. There's a lot of people who wouldn't have expected me to stop, but I kind of had it in the back of my head. I said, I'm feeling now, if I got this refuel right, that I could get him out of here. But it was more a thing of, I think just the fights at light heavy. Maybe I knew I was trying to get to super middle for a reason. I maybe didn't have the confidence to start as fast at light heavy, but like there the last day, there was, I just set a high pace for 3 rounds, and for the 3 rounds it lasted, and I was fine. I just broke a sweat.
And I guess, it's probably it was going back over old ground. Obviously, I know last April you're supposed to obviously fight in Cork, and I know obviously I'd spoke to you sort of off air. It was run one particularly with it being in fight week, but the show was cancelled because of obviously Tommy's medical issue at the time. That was one that really hurt you. So did it sort of feel good now to sort of revisit sort of somewhere that was painful for you last year? The fact that you were so deep in the fight week, all the preparation was done. I think you were supposed to make your super middleweight debut last year. So it sort of came 14 months later. Did it feel good to sort of finally get Cork marked off?
Yeah, look, it was nice because it was nice and close to home, and obviously myself and Tommy, we get on very well as well. We're sparring each other the whole time, so it was nice to be on a card that was kind of based around him as well, and we were sharing the dressing room and stuff. So it was just, I suppose it was good to be a part of his show. All in all, it was the main thing. Yeah, it was just nice to be near home. I'm not sure if you could hear it watching it live, but Jesus, there was some Kerry crew there, and they were loud. So yeah, it was just nice to have that back, and I suppose it was a bit of a statement too, to show that I have a big following. I just needed to not be in Belfast or somewhere, far away, so my friends can actually travel.
And obviously, going back sort of from our previous interview, I know that prior to obviously the Medrano fight being made, that obviously the BAA had obviously said that obviously if you come through that fight, that they're obviously going to that you were going to be next in line for Craig McCarthy. Well, the two are obviously going to fight for the vacant Irish title. Was there any added pressure going into last weekend, knowing that you couldn't slip up, where you sort of having to make sure you're having to second guess when you were planning attacks because you didn't want to get hit with something and being so close to sort of getting to go over old ground again, they obviously fight for an Irish title again, you wanted to make sure everything was done right?
No, I didn't. I'm good at blocking stuff out. I didn't even cross my mind going in there. The ring walk. I remember doing ring walk and all that. It was just all that was in my head was I'm gonna go there and do my thing, John, have fun. The Craig McCarthy thing wasn't even in my head. The fight wasn't even in my head. I don't. I just, as I always said, don't look beyond someone. I didn't look beyond him, and I got the job done. So now it's don't look beyond Craig McCarthy. So yeah, that's obviously the next move straight away after the fight. The BUI putting it up that it's sanctioned, and that's what's happening next. I'm after a couple of horrendous camps and tough fights, so I'm obviously taking my few weeks now and going on holidays in less than 2 weeks' time, and then after that, I'm straight back into camp and try to get something made. See what options come in and see what's out there. So it's just a waiting game now.
I know that obviously some people have obviously had opinions, and I know you've maybe seen some of them as well, where people were sort of scratching their head and going, Jamie Morrissey was moving back down to super middle. He was obviously the Celtic champion before Craig McCarthy. That it seems like you're sort of jumping the queue sort of on him. I guess in your sort of views, it's not you that sort of made the fight. It's a boxing union of Ireland that's made the fight. But I just obviously wanted to speak sort of on that because you as a fighter, you'll fight. It's not you that makes the decisions and who you'll fight for the fight. But I guess you can sort of feel for Jamie as well that where you have both obviously both fought previously twice. You can probably see maybe why he could be frustrated that he's not getting a chance for the belt.
Yeah, I could understand they said it before the fight. We want Jamie to be next because he's moving back down to super middle and all that. But then at the same time, it was a bit rich to say it after the fight because he didn't move back down. He didn't fight. That's nothing against Jamie or anything like that. That's what it was like. He didn't fight in the night. Things happen, but to say that after then, it didn't make sense to me. And yeah, to be using my name to I don't know why you say just using my name as an excuse or whatever you want to say is yeah, no, I didn't take that too lightly either. People did praise you to your face, and all that, and then they use your name behind your back like that. It's it's the sport, I guess. It's what we're involved in, people. People be nice to your face and they'll say stuff behind your back, but look, I can give a shit. I have my title fight. I don't care. I'm fighting for the Irish title. People can be jealous or upset or whatever. I don't care. It's not worrying about their feelings anymore. I think that's a big problem I had all along was that maybe I was too respectful to people. I was always nice to people. If someone wanted something a certain way, I didn't care. I'd agree to it, and I was always too nice nearly. But yeah, I think from recent fights and recent times, it's time to put that Kevin, just put him in a drawer for a while, and lock it because I think I
Bringing
just
out
need
the
to come
bad
and
guy, then, are we?
I won't say a bad Kevin, but a Kevin is going to stand his ground and stand up for himself, and not give everyone their own way and not going to be walked over either in the sport. So that's just the way it is. Look, I have my Irish title shot next against Craig McCarthy. That's what it is. He's the Celtic champion. He's next in line. BUIC me is next in line after my performance the last day. Happy days. Just time to smoke McCarthy, and I couldn't care whatever everyone else thinks.
Obviously, he's had a head-to-head sort of in the ring. I could sort of see you were smirking sort of straight away. Craig McCarthy was obviously given the mic. He was able to introduce to everybody in Cork who he was in case they didn't know who he was. He'd obviously the BUI Celtic title around his waist as well, and he's had a few words. What went on was, I guess, when you see sometimes, and you've seen it on the TV and stuff yourself, when you see the head-to-heads when a fight hasn't been officially agreed, it can become across a bit cheesy. But what words were sort of said in the head-to-head? Is it just obviously the fact that you just can't wait to sort of get what you sort of believe was already yours at a bigger weight?
Yeah, as far as I knew, he was hopping into the ring for a face-to-face. And then I seen him grab the microphone. I actually looked over my crowd. I looked over at someone in the crowd, and I was just like, "Oh, look at this fella! Like, what's he had?" Yeah, it was a bit cringe. It was a bit cringe, and I know what he was saying, whatever, paying his respect to my fight and all that, and then he started spluttering off a bit. So I said, it's time to call a halt to this. So I went over and I just gave him a small piece of my mind, and I said, "Come on, let's do our face to face." That was it. I think he was having fun. It was, look, I suppose it was fun, but I think he took it all as a bit of fun. And I think when I finally got face to face and our noses and foreheads came together, he shit himself. His facial expressions changed very fast. I wasn't there to mess around, and this is not just a big joke to me. So, like, that's all it was. That's all it was. Look, it was the face off. It was just announced the fight, really. That's all it was meant to be. Anything else that went on around it, the walking around talking, I don't know. It's just personal preference by him, obviously.
What do you obviously make of Craig McCarthy? I guess, now you're saying that the good guys sort of way, we might get a bit more out of you now, which is sort of, I guess, I know someone that'll like that, Johnny Stapleton, Irish boxing. He loves the beef. So obviously, what do you sort of make of Craig? As Craig obviously as a fighter, I guess this is your sort of time. I guess the fight hasn't, where the BUI have sanctioned that the fight will happen next. That's not it, and we're going to sort of speak about that. But what do you think of Craig as a fighter first and foremost? He's obviously been through, I guess, tough times as well. Obviously, a leg break, and it might have looked, it might not have come back into the sport. Do you start to fuel your fire of hate towards him?
But no, I won't say the word hate. I don't hate anyone in the sport, really. And Craig, yeah, look, good fighter. He's old and he's a champion at the weight, so he must be good to win a belt. Saying that, he fought Graham McCormack, and yeah, I always got along good with Graham, but he can deny it all he wants. Craig got dropped in that fight, he was on his backside looking at Graham. So, wow, what will a natural light heavyweight coming down to the super middleweight do to him? Yeah, look, he's a champion, go fire, whatever. But and as I said, like, I'm going in, I'm going to smoke him, and that's it. And there's no more respect. There's no more. Oh, they're not going to be talking about how good a fight it's going to be and this and that. And going in there with bad intentions, and I've I don't I just don't think I'm going to like to see these fights going to the scorecards anymore, because obviously that hasn't worked for me in the past.
Obviously, Craig's obviously put out something today. You'd nearly think that I'd sort of planned for him to do it, and I haven't. It just turned out well. So I know that you've seen this and you've obviously responded to it as well. So you put up your TikTok as you like to do. You're now a TikToker. You like to have your wee videos on TikTok, but he obviously he shared obviously your TikTok and Instagram and says, "All I see is a man rushing his work. Let's see, does he live up to his words and blow my fucking head off? See how he does against this season pro." It was well, it
Whatever.
was well versed. I'm nearly going to ask Craig for, I'm nearly going to say to him afterwards, thank you, because that might have obviously changed you from being probably maybe respectful a bit more to him in an interview, that you might say a few more words about him. So I'm sort of thanking him for that. But I can see where Craig wants this to go, that he wants to have a war of words, and everybody likes to hear the trash talk. You've had probably trash talk in the past and bits with Taylor McGoldrick. Obviously the fight and stuff never happened. So now you're going to be able to build the fight up with trash talk, and it's only going to make the theatre of the fight even bigger.
Yeah, it's like the last day. I had just won the fight. My crowd were going berserk. He was jealous of his moment. He wanted his moment. He wanted the crowd to acknowledge him. So he came in there and he said whatever he said. I don't even know what he was going on about like that again today. Look, he obviously says I put something up and people are liking it and people are watching it, and it's like he gets this little bit of jealousy or something, and wants everyone to be looking at him. It's me, me, me. It's him or no one. Same as the belt around the waist the last day. It's all me. Um, whatever. Whatever. Like he can. I think he's probably just trying to get into my head. Like as I said, I'll stand my ground with him, Joe. I won't let him chat shit about me or anything like that. But I won't be getting in my head, and he can talk all he wants and he can say what he wants. And I'm convinced he has a little diary or something with loads of little things ready to put up over the camp and social media. But at the end of the day, whenever this fight is made, wherever this fight is made, the bell is gonna go, and there's gonna be no one to save him then.
Do you believe you could, obviously, when it comes to the fight, like, I'm not sure obviously what people's opinions would be, but would you believe that you're a big favourite in the fight, obviously based on the domestic fights you've had with Jamie Morrissey has built you in really good stead. You've had loads of activity recently where he hasn't have. Do you believe you can stop Craig McCarthy in the fight?
The favorite thing, I don't know why people are going to look at that. Like, if you're talking favorite is in bookies, I don't have a clue what way they'll go at that. Look, maybe they'll put him as a big favorite because he's a champion or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I know in my head that I'm my favorite. As in, I know I'm going to beat him. Do I think I'll stop him? Yeah, he's not seeing the final bell. He is not. The minute he gets in me, he's not going to see the final bell. I said to him, I wouldn't have said if I didn't believe, if I thought he could take me the distance, I'll only speak the truth to someone. I wouldn't say what I said to him in the ring the last day, it's one thing is, I think everyone knows that about me at this stage is I am a person of my word, and like, if I say something, I mean it. And yeah, like I told him I'd take his fucking head off, and that's exactly what I plan on doing.
That killer streak, I guess, it comes when, obviously, and I know we're very friendly and slabber at each other on a daily basis nearly, and if people sort of seen the things that we message, it would probably make for good viewing. But I guess the experience you've had with, obviously, fights falling through, obviously the defeat in Belfast, the draw in Galway, that's bringing out a different Kevin Cronin now, and the fact that you're no more Mr. Nice Guy, you'll not let people walk over you. Is this what you probably maybe feel you probably maybe should have had sooner? Probably might have put a bit, not that it wouldn't have changed anything, you may not have done anything wrong, but a bit more spiteful in what you done might have maybe potentially led to different results.
Yeah, no, like, it's not really that I'm changing to being a spiteful person, nothing like that. I'm the same on me. We were in the interview we done, was it 2 weeks ago? You were asking, I can't remember what you asked, but we were going on about the Jamie fight and the respect between us and all that. And as I said, it's the situation you're in. Like, if me and Jamie fight another 10 times, it's probably going to be the same build up. But I'm in a different situation now. There's a different person in front of me. He's approaching it in a different way. And I'm not going to let him just come and step on my toes and chat shit and this and that, and start posting on me on social media. Not that I care about any of them things, but I'm not going to just sit back and let someone stand in front of you with a microphone and chat shit. It's just not the way I roll. And I'd happily go through the camp if we said nothing to each other, but that ship sailed now. But like that, that's not what my camp's going to be about. My camp's going to be about training, getting as good as possible, the best preparation as possible. But at the end of the day, we're going to be coming face to face at pints over the camp for whatever it'll be, weigh-ins, press conferences, interviews, things like that. And no, I'm not going to let them get in my face, jaw at them things. Not at all.
Is it hard for you to get too excited, probably, I guess, on the fight yet? As I sort of just alluded, we were going to bring this up. Where the fights, obviously, the BUA sanction, everything else, the problem you have now is you're a free agent. Craig McCarthy, I'm not sure if he's obviously signed to Neil Parr. He obviously fought in Neil Parr's last show. The problem for you, I guess, and probably Craig, is getting the right person behind to support it. And I know you've dreams and aspirations. The minute I mention this word, obviously it'll change your face straight away in the INEC and Kerry. For you to get the fight there, we've dreamt of, and we've spoken about it quite a lot of times. What obviously needs to happen next, obviously, I know Conlan Boxing are interested, and obviously they're interested in obviously having the fight. They obviously, after the first fight you had with Jamie Morrissey in Belfast, they were interested in the rematch in Galway. to what degree Conlan Boxing are interested, whether it's Kerry. I know there's a potential of a show in Dublin in late September as well. Would that be probably maybe the ultimate sort of aim to have someone like Conlan Boxing involved with the show?
Yeah, like as in when they're talking promoters, I really rate Conlan up there, and having worked with them, for the Galway show, was just everything was so smooth, and they were brilliant to work with, and yeah, I'm a free agent, and to be honest with you, if there was anyone I'd like to work with in the future, it'd be Conlan. They're someone now that I'd be looking to impress. That's kind of the road I'm going down now. I'm looking, obviously, as a free agent, you have a bit of leeway with things. Choose to whatever, go here, fight, and take a slot here and all that. But yeah, that's at the minute now. Obviously, the Irish title next. That's what I want. But yeah, they're very, very good promotions, and yeah, if it was to be them running the show, I'd 100% be all up for it. You were saying about Dublin or Kerry and all that. I mean, like it's like I wouldn't turn down a big show if there's going to be a show anywhere. Let's say, I don't know, big Sky Sports or big television program. You can't turn them things down. But at the same time, if a promoter makes a decision to come and do this fight in the INEC in Clarny, you're looking at a county that's never experienced that before, person with a huge following, an absolute packed out arena, and one of the finest arenas in the country. It's going to be packed. With over 2,000 people. Like it's that's my ideal situation, is to win the Irish title in the INEC. And the reason being is the Irish title is a huge title to win. I'd love to win it there, because when it goes beyond that and I get into the European rankings and I get to where I want to go, and let's say I'm challenging for a European title, let's say I win a European title or it's vacant or something, and then if a promoter wants to come and do it in Kerry, the INEC is too small then, because then you're talking stadiums. Then you're not, that INEC would be too small for that, but it's like the ideal situation for an Irish title.
Would sort of late September be ideal? Sort of, is that be where you'd be sort of looking at planning around the fight?
That'd kind of be the soonest, because I've gone through the last couple of months with probably no other Irish fighter has gone through, with activity, and even if there is one or two, maybe they're a bit more active than me in the last couple of months, they wouldn't have been active to the level of fights, if you get what I'm saying, like the domestic fights, the title fights. There was a hell of a run of fights. So yeah, it'd have to be late September at earliest, because like I've to take a little break too. I have to let my body heal. My right shoulder was banjaxed in that ring the last day, and no one even knew. But the adrenaline pulled me through. My right shoulder was in bits, and that's gonna need a couple of weeks to heal up there now as well. And I'm going on holidays in 2 weeks, as I mentioned, and that's all in my head now, and kind of holiday mode. And look, I'm still training away, but I'm in healing mode now. Just let the body heal, give it its little time, and what I'll do when the body is healed will be, it's gonna be crazy. And with this little break as well, I'll have a little time for all that experience I've gained in the two title fights, the 10 rounder, the 8 rounder, and even that last fight against at super middleweight. I'll be able to sit back and kind of take that experience in, where all this was shoved on top of me in the last couple of months. So I couldn't exactly sit back, sit and just take everything in. Whereas now I can do that and I can build in it. And yeah, poor Craig McCarthy. That's all I'm going to say, John. But yeah, back to what you were mentioning. Yeah, my ideal situation would be Conlan Boxing, and then my ideal fight or venue would actually be Kerry. It has to be Kerry even. I know it definitely wasn't the same watching it the last day. I'm not sure what the year, but if you're in that place, the Kerry, they just took over. They absolutely took over the place. And like that again, since then, walk around shops, and it's all anyone's mentioning to me, when they see me, because I mentioned on social media, obviously, about that I want the INEC for the Irish title, just putting out there what I want really. And like just that's all people are saying to me, you know, in the shops, in the street, stopping me, you know, is Kerry happening? I have the same response for them all, you know. I'm gonna try my hardest to get it, you know. I'm gonna keep pushing for it, you know, even if it's looking bad and it's looking like it won't happen. I'm gonna keep pushing for it. It's definitely not a situation where we have to worry about it not selling out or anything like that, you know. That's the last thing we need to worry about. But yeah, something like that, and it'd be like the venue is just unreal as well. And it's a Irish title fight, you know. Maybe Irish television could come back on board. Be nuts. But look, as I say, I have my little break now. Let's see what offers come in. Let's see what offers come in. That's all I
That's the
can
big
do.
thing, isn't it? Obviously, it's offers coming in because boxers, obviously you don't know how long you have in the sport and everything else, and it can change very, very quickly. It's by trying to make as much as you can, as quick as you can, because you don't know when it could, you don't even know when you could fall in love with it and stuff as well, particularly what you've been through with a loss and a draw when you thought it was otherwise. But the money makes sense, and like, of course, obviously where you've that dream of Kerry, there's a potential of obviously the Katie Taylor card potentially in November, which maybe might be too far away. But obviously there's potential, like if you were to give the option of Kerry or to fight in the three arena, for instance, it might be the only one chance you might get to fight in the three arena, whereas you could win the belt in the three arena and then defend it in the INEC in Killarney. So, you can sort of look at it that way, but it's where you're going to get the most money for the fight. And obviously it helps in the future as well then.
Yeah, to an extent. At the same time, at the same time, my eye is on that title, like, and obviously, if I got offered something like Katie Taylor card for it, it'd be so very hard to turn down, But if there was something put on the table and said to me, the INEC for the Irish title, or 4 weeks later, the undercard of Katie Taylor for it, knowing me, I'd nearly be snatching that INEC ticket. It's I don't think people realize how bad I want it.
I know you plague me about it on a constant basis, sort of with it as well. And sometimes it maybe you don't want to be promoting it sort of too much because then people think that's all you dream of. But it's your local venue and everything else. It's your vision and it's your motivation to keep you driving whenever camp gets hard. I guess obviously it come back to the sort of Conlan boxing post as there, because I know you had conversation with Michael obviously after the Galway show. Has there been any discussion on them holding a show for you in Kerry or even promoting you? Because I think that's probably maybe the only thing you're missing at the moment is to have a promotional sort of back. And has there been any talk of that? I'm guessing there's obviously talk that you would like to have if you're saying if you had your choice, it'd be Conlan boxing.
Yeah, well, we haven't really spoke since Bard, like wishing them well with the fights and all that. And obviously, look, I'm not going to be bombarding them with messages or anything, because if someone wants me, I'd rather see them kind of approach me. I don't want to be forcing someone into something, that they might or might not want. If you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm open to talks. Definitely open to talks. But yeah, no, we haven't spoken that night. We were speaking all right the night of the fight, but obviously, look, they were saying we had a conversation another day because I was sore that night and all that. But like, I'm not, no, I'm not. As I always say, I'm not a very cocky person, but I'm. At the end of the day, I see myself as a promoter's dream. I try to sell tickets. I have a huge following from a place where boxing doesn't even come, and I know, and I can fight. And I've got something that a lot of people don't have, and that's battle. And grit. Even see them Jamie fights when I was falling behind the cards. Most boxers probably would have just started giving in and just boxed their way to the finish. I didn't. I still wanted that win, and to pull it back to the situation we're in, then just kind of shows where I'm at. And now finally down at the weight where I belong. I think I think I can rip through it. Do you know anything? I can rip through it. And but look, it's all going to start with McCarthy, but that's really gonna be my first big win. Like, this is my first. That was my first fight at super middleweight, and I'm straight into an Irish title fight. I wasn't going to turn it down. You know, I wasn't going to delay it. Just give it to me. That's the way it is. As you say, careers are short. But no, I haven't spoke with the Conlan since that night. I was speaking to them that night, but haven't spoken with them since that night. Hopefully, my phone's still on.
I guess obviously, it's sort of it for me. Obviously, I know you're going to have a couple of weeks, obviously break now. Obviously, going to win holidays. If you obviously any messages you want to give to Craig McCarthy, obviously as you start to plan to sort of build the fight. I guess you don't want to scare him off and things like that. You probably maybe don't want to go too far. Is there any message you obviously want to give to Craig McCarthy, obviously ahead of a fight being made between you?
I've nothing to say to him. Nothing to say to him. Just don't get injured. That's all I want. Do not get injured. Do not fuck up this fight. This is, he can be talking about it's his moment, all he wants, and this and that, and sputtering on whatever on social media. At the end of the day, I just want him in that ring, ready to fight for the Irish title. And once he's there, I'll do the rest, so I just don't get injured before that fight.
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time as always. Enjoy your holiday and don't be getting any more of them silly tattoos. But obviously enjoy your breaks. Obviously, I know it's been back to back, probably pretty much all of this year. Great to obviously get a catch up with you as always, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again very soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Kevin. Take care. Thanks. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.